All right, everybody, welcome. This is SANDDAO Podcast number 2, a podcast about the Sandbox DAO and all the things that are important about that. With me today is Pepe from SandRush. You may have seen his Sandbox Improvement Proposal that is currently on public comment. It's been on there for almost 2 weeks, so we about hit the 14-day period. After that, then it goes to Sandbox Advice, the special counsel for last ditch check, and then it goes back to us, the community, for a vote in the snapshot. Welcome, Pepe. Yeah, absolutely. So, at the top, what you all are seeing. I'm not hearing you. Say something again, Pepe. Oh, that's because I had you muted. My fault. Say it again. Say hello, everyone.
Hi guys, great to be here. Thanks for having me, Lanzer.
There we go. All right, all good. So as you all can see here, I have on the top are the slides that we'll be going through, and then on the bottom is the magic palette and all the different details that we'll be going through for this episode. This episode is all about a look into the SIP process. So both Pepe and myself have submitted SIPs, and Pepe is just a little bit further along than I am. But what I decided was that the actual creation of an SIP is a little bit daunting if it's your first time. So what we're going to do is Pepe and I are going to go through what we answered for ourselves, and then in that you'll learn more about Magic Palette. You'll learn a little bit more about mine and my two SIPs, and that way, if you have a SIP that you want to create, you can do so, and now you know how to do it. So I am noticing though that our video is popping in and out for some reason. Just give me just a second, figure out what's going on with that.
Sure. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you. It's just the
Right.
video for some reason. It decides that it wants to not be cooperative. Let's try and refresh it, see what happens.
I mean, we were.
Oh, you know what? I know what's happening. It's going out of focus, and then that's weird. That is odd. All right, cool. Back in action. So let's go through the normal stuff that I normally go through whenever I run a podcast. Here's our introductory slide. Next slide, scope of the talk. So what is this talk about? What this talk is about is an investigation and a look into the SIPs that Pepe and I have submitted, and what our reaction is as we've interacted with the process. That's what it is. It's just a look between two people who just went through it. And next we'll get into introductions. So Pepe, if you wouldn't mind, please telling us a little bit about yourself and how you got to here.
Sure. Thanks. I'm involved in the Sandbox since the really early days. I came through Creators Fund back then. I was in one of the earliest. I was in cell 2, I think, back then. And there were many cells or artist cells that worked on assets. If you didn't know what the Creators Fund did, it was kind of the goal of Sandbox to populate the marketplace with thousands of high quality assets. So this is where my journey started. I was kind of this also brought together really like-minded people. I found my co-founders through the Creators Fund.
Who are your co-founders?
The co-founders is Chris, Sisapi, and Nest.
Nice.
We founded SandRush a bit more than 2 years ago now. So we are a legal entity here registered in Switzerland. But our team is all over the world, and we are quite this type of metaverse studio where widespread. And yeah, I'm coming initially from architecture, interior design, architecture, and design, industrial design. Um, but it just was this urge to create something extraordinary and work with voxels. Um, was for me, I never was super deep into how to say 3D modeling, like
Mm-hmm.
with meshes and all that. But voxel gave me as artist kind of still the option to create and yeah, design. And yeah, from there we did a lot of really cool projects. We worked, for example, for CyberCongs, one of the still thriving, and one of the top Web3 communities out there. Um, we built experiences for them, but our focus was always also as studio building tools and tech for kind of the platform, or the not the platform itself, more like for the user and creators and builders. And this is where we are right now, exactly with our SIP that we will take a bit a closer look today. We have developed one of our tools quite far. I would say it's an MVP right now, maybe even a bit further
Hmm.
than just a
That's cool.
minimal viable product. And this is where we are right now. Yeah.
Good. Good. Thanks, Pepe. So I'm Lanzer. I'm president of MetaWorlds. We published Floor Droppers, and we have 2 more that are publishing here in the next couple months. Portal Run and Lava Defense. And before that, I was a contract negotiator and contract writer. I'm also a program manager of a big program, and so I have a business background and a negotiation background. So that's why I'm so bought into the DAO, because it's the perfect intersection for me of gaming and business in a way that I have a lot of experience in, which is organizing, leading teams, and also overarching governance and creating organizations that run efficiently, effectively, and with transparency. I'm also, for a number of years, led a organization that was kind of like a cross between American NFL and ESPN, where we would organize weekly tournaments of about 400 players, and so there's a whole like volunteer team behind it, and then we'd referee the matches and we'd broadcast them for the PlanetSide 2 MMO FPS game, and that's the one we broke the Guinness World Record with that we still hold today. So I'm ecstatic that I'm here, that my road has led me to here in Sandbox, and I've been a gamer involved in SandFam since midway through season 1. So Avatar, Land, and now the DAO. So excited to be here. This, it may not show my face, but I am very, very excited to be delving into the DAO. I've just been eating up as much as I could, whether it be the Mochaverse, Saturday recordings and Twitter Spaces, or the AMAs. I'm halfway through the NFC Lisbon fireside chat with Cyril and Seb. Learned some interesting things about that I didn't know before. And so here we are. Pepe and I just running through the SIP process and trying to propose a proposal. So if some of you aren't aware of what that means, we'll get that. We have our slides here. We'll show the particulars of all of that. Before we do so, let's jump into the disclaimer. Pepe and I do not represent the Sandbox game or the Sandbox Foundation. We speak for ourselves as SandFam community members, and we are not your financial or legal advisors, so nothing we say should be taken as financial or legal advice. Cool. Let's start the ground floor. Some interesting facts that are pertinent to what we're going over now. SIP stands for Sandbox Improvement Proposal. DAO stands for Decentralized Autonomous Organization. Each SIP, in order for it to be considered to be passed or not, requires a quorum. Right now, that quorum is 1% of the sand supply, which is 30 million. So there must be 30 million voting power for a SIP to even be allowed to pass. After that, then it's a simple 50% majority. If you own one sand in your wallet, that's 1 voting power. If you own 1 land, that's 4,500 voting power. How many SIPs have been submitted so far? 5. All 5 have passed. There are currently 2 draft SIPs in the forums, and you can see here on this bottom portion of my screen that there's the magic palette here. So it's under proposal ideas. So if you go here underneath announcements and help resources, there's proposal ideas, and underneath that is SIP draft. And there you'll see magic palette and creator first, the 2 SIPs that are under public comment. Now, there are 2 SIPs that I submitted in the past week. They have not made it yet to this SIP draft. They're currently at the foundation for that initial review before it goes to public comment. Interesting. This thing keeps cutting off every time I click. Huh. Anyways, so that's where we are. That's where we stand now. And let's go over the SIP process. Per the forum, step 1 is you submit your SIP. Step 2 is there a project management review by the Sandbox DAO Foundation and its team. Then it goes through a moderator review, community review, special counsel review. Then it goes to community voting, like the past 5 did, and then it gets implemented. So if you're reading that from the forums, you may come across with more questions than answers. That's good, because that's why we're here. We're here to show you what that translates into. So the first thing you do is you submit via the SIP template, and we'll show you what that looks like. You then email that completed SIP to the Sandbox DAO email, and that was just showed you here, right here, sip@sandboxdao.com. Then it goes to, after a brief review between yourselves and the Sandbox team to improve it for prime time, then gets posted to the SIP draft section of the forums, where it goes under a 14-day community response. After that, then it goes to a special council vote, which is Shannon, Fred, Yatsu, Seb, and I'm missing someone. Forgive me. And it's gonna bug me. We need to know. And Jean-Michel. So that it gets voted on as a yes or no to make sure that it's legal, it's not redundant, it meets the vision of the DAO. And then after that, then it goes to a vote to the community via snapshot.org, where sand holders and landowners will vote. So that's the overall process. Now, when you open up your own SIP template to create, you're gonna run across big sections, big headers: title, council recommendation, category. There are too long, didn't read. The SIP details, voting options, appendix, resubmission, and then everything that happens after that, which is the email it, get it revised, and then go into comment. So that is a lot. There's a lot of stuff. So we're going to break it down, what Pepe and I did when we answered it for ourselves. So the first thing you'll come across in the SIP template there is this nice little thing that says a 10K character limit. So a SIP should typically follow the below guidelines and template to help the DAO members make a voting decision. Nice little picture. So Pepe, Did you follow the 10K character limit when you did yours? You did?
It's a good question, and actually, um,
Was it even on your radar, or did you just, we
um,
scrolled past this and just went into it?
I did, yeah, I did, but the problem was never told me. Nobody told me before.
Gotcha.
It's,
Yep. So I only loosely did as well. Mine did bring it underneath that,
sorry,
but ultimately,
issues.
no.
But basically, I kind of figured it out because I was reading the snapshot documentation. So it was more me like figuring out how things can be done. For example, what can you use? Can you use video, images, markdown, formation of your zip, and all that? And this is where I was, or where I did stumble over this 10K.
You did? Yeah. I did too for my second one. My first one was about window resizing, and I think I got it in under 10K. My second one, which is the roadmap for Sandbox or us to create a roadmap, that one is where I had a lot more difficulty because it was bigger. It had more to say. But yours looked pretty healthy. You've got pictures and you have full details, lots of pictures, which by the way look awesome. But then you go like you have a lot.
It is below 10K, but it is stretching this kind
Yeah.
of, I think.
But
So
I
it's
get the
around.
feeling that they're probably not too angry about it if you did. And it's just to keep it to where they don't have to spend 10 days reading the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean it totally makes sense. I
Yeah.
also agree. It's totally fine, and I think it's already quite lengthy. So this is why this, and we come to this, I think, this TLDR
Yeah.
type of approach, so you can grasp everything pretty easily.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff still needs to be explained, especially with projects that are a bit more advanced and yeah, product, or in our case, a full-fledged app that we did develop. So yeah,
Gotcha.
it's fair,
Okay.
but yeah, you need to
Yep.
keep
It's
care
there.
of.
Pay attention to it for what it's worth. They even highlighted it, so I imagine they do care about it, but
Mm.
Okay, so the next part is you get to the very top where it tells you to insert a
It was
title.
not in my template, just
Oh, it wasn't? Oh, it's in mine now. Maybe you're the reason why we've got it, Pepe.
No, it's snapshot. It's snapshot. It's not me.
Okay,
But it's
gotcha.
yeah. Snapshot doesn't allow more
That's
than
funny.
10K.
If you have any questions, by the way, post them in chat. Okay. Anyways, so the next part is the title. The title, it wants you to give a concise description for the SIP. Then it goes into council recommendation and the category. So for concise title, Pepe, what was yours? Magic Palette, a powerful design tool for landowners, builders, and creators. Mine was window sizing and resolution options for game client, game maker, Vox editor, and launcher. And for my second tip that I sent out last night was create a roadmap for sandbox releases. All it is just a very, very
Cool.
short sentence where people can read it and then have an understanding of what it is that you're after.
The shorter, the better. I see.
Yeah. Yours, 1, 2, 3,
Is
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 words. Mine, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So right there next to each other. Council recommendation, this one they fill out after they discuss, then they, put whether it's positive, negative, or neutral. And that's where in the SIP, I think it shows up in the actual SIP Whereas here in the SIP draft, they haven't voted on it yet, so you won't see it. But in the 5 that did pass, you saw in the beginning. I'm not exactly sure what this means. Pepe, do you have any idea of what they're after?
Sorry, can you repeat?
I said, I'm not exactly sure what they were getting at here. What does it mean to have a negative or
The
neutral recommendation?
I really get you scrambled. Sorry, I can't take the switch audio.
Oh, are you having trouble hearing me?
Nope, sorry. It's just drops.
Yeah, no problem. Your video freezes every now and again, but I can still hear you. I think everyone else can too. So what I asked was for council recommendation. Did you hear
So
anything?
about the council recommendation.
Yeah. Yeah, yours is I imagine yours is going to be positive, but do you know any indication of how yours would be negative or neutral or what that would mean to the council?
No idea actually.
Okay.
I was asking in the early process.
Okay. So that's what it looked like there. And for what it's worth, that they'll probably go back and do that. Then here under category, what are you targeting? You have 7 different categories to choose from. Magic palette. You chose, which one did you choose? Let me guess. Game content.
Good question. Actually, I was asking, wouldn't be there a bit more diversified categories available? Because it's really, at least from my perspective, it's a bit limiting. But then again, I mean, I understand that they only want to have a few categories. That's totally fine. In the end, we were dropped in the game content. Yeah.
Game content? Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, but then, yeah, I'm fine with
Mine,
that. Yeah.
I chose game content as well. And then for my second one, for the roadmap, I chose platform. Because a roadmap would ultimately just be like an artifact that people can consult, like on the website. On the, where is it here on this website? The roadmap. No, it's under vision. Oh, excuse me, under dashboard. You know how they have the allocation of the budget and all that. So it to me, I saw it as something like that. Whereas my first one is the actual game changes. But
Mhm.
yours is a tool, web-based tool that would then integrate into Game Maker.
No, not directly, at least not
Okay.
at this point. It's an independent software, so GameMaker runs locally, so it's standalone. And we really, and I also have outlined this in the SIP, we really focused and wanted to be web-based. There are a few reasons to do that in our case. So we're just kind of have, or we aim for a data transfer in between GameMaker and our software.
Okay, gotcha. A
Yeah.
data transfer. Yeah, that makes sense. So
And
then,
the categories, for me, yeah, it's a bit because platform that you just mentioned. Did you see what was in brackets? It's super stand finance
yeah, like
oriented,
tokenomics and stuff
financial,
like that.
you
Yeah,
know. So this was why it did put me off a bit. We don't fit here very well, to be honest.
gotcha.
But yeah, I guess they. Yeah, the only thing that concerns me a bit here, I imagine that a lot of stuff like ours needs to be thrown into game content, even if it's not directly straightforward, whatever, making a game or so.
Hmm.
And it will take away from this kind of pot of the DAO budget, you know.
Gotcha.
This is a bit, yeah. So this is why I asked in the early days, couldn't be there a bit a better allocation and all that. But we will see. And I think Cyril even said in one AMA that there is the option to reallocate funds to another category, and all that.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now we can get into the next portion. Underneath title, council recommendation, and category, you'll find the TLDR. So they want the TLDR up front, and then later on you go into the nitty gritty of your proposal. So the TLDR is broken down into what, why, how, when, where, and who. Starting first with what, it's just a basic overview of the SIP. It includes purpose, significance, what's going to be voted on. The why should the sandbox do this? Why should the community vote for you? How are you going to do this? What's the team behind it? What's the budget? When? So you want to describe the phases, the schedule in which you'll be completing. Where? This one we don't fill out. The sandbox team comes back and fills it in. And then who? Details about who's submitting, so the author. Let's see. So Magic Palette. Web-based creator tool that leverages voxels as building blocks to streamline the level design process. So it's supposed to be beginner and advanced friendly. And you can generate maps, swap themes, customize levels, and work with voxel maps. So what does that look like when it says generate a map? How do you do that in a web-based tool and then move it over?
Yeah, basically, it's exactly as stated here. We have our app kind of can generate procedural generate content, or in this case, maps and land. We will have one generator live in the demo that goes live soon.
Oh, you're gonna do a
And
demo
this
soon?
is, yeah, sure.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's we need to adjust our I mean, what we have here in the SIP is already a few weeks old, as you also said, and we're pushing daily. The goal is to go live with a demo or a beta release, kind of, so that everybody can try the software. It will not have, or it will have limited export functionalities, but all the rest we already have in place and actually developing.
And where are you gonna do that demo? YouTube, Twitch, somewhere else?
Oh, no, a demo more like in a way that you really can try yourself. We release a
Oh,
beta
you're gonna
version.
release an early version. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, exactly.
Via SandRush's website?
Um, magicpalette.io is
Oh,
our
that's right. You put it
website.
at the very
So
bottom. Also, a section we'll go over is the appendix, and you have it down here under additional resources, magicpalette.io, and there you go. So you can sign up. I imagine that pre-register is what will get you into that.
yeah, exactly.
It's a really nice
Yeah,
website.
just drop us the email and you get in earlier. As said, it's to give you an idea what is possible and what Magic Palette can do for you as landowner or builder. And yeah, that's one part. This procedural generated map or map generation is really for the non-builders. At least it should enable them to get content to their lands really quickly with a few clicks already. And the second part is the more, I would say, advanced approach where we help the builders and the studios and the guys that daily build in the sandbox with um, doing the level design with a really enhanced and also, I would say, accelerated approach once you get the hang of it. So you kind of design with voxels now and transform them into blocks with Magic Palette.
Gotcha.
And this then can be exported to GameMaker.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, so that's the what for you. And what is the what for me? The what for my window resizing, that was simply, we request that the Sandbox dev team prioritizes updating the graphics setting to allow for Windows resizing and resolution options for GameMaker, VoxEdit, Sandbox Launcher, and the game client. Whereas the game client does allow for a little bit of that, as if your monitor's under 1920. Anything above that, you can't mess with your resolution at all. And so it's been like that since season 1, since I've been playing. And so yeah, that's my what. And then for
Love it.
creating a, what's that?
Love it. It's actually
It's
something
quite,
that we
yeah.
that's we my team and especially my co-founder Chris. He pulls out his hair every time because he really struggles with it. I tend to do windowed. Yeah, I mean we all know it.
I
We
do
don't
too.
need to
I do my
elaborate.
Alt
Yeah.
Enter, but not everybody has, that ability to really mess with your window sizing by Windows shortcut keys. So that's where I want this SIP to tell the Sandbox team to prioritize it so we can get that. You know how many times I've been in Game Maker wanting to move different assets and stuff like Windows and use Chrome to do something else, but I can't because it's huge, it's stuck. So I don't know. And then SIP number
Cool.
2, to create an easily accessible roadmap that shows the future updates for Game Client, VoxEdit, Launcher, Game Maker, and the website. So all the stuff that they're going to do, like version 10, create a roadmap for what's going to happen in version 11 and 12 and 13 and something like that. So that's my second one. And yeah, good times. And I have like a picture of a visual when I created. I spent like 8 hours making just the visual. It was insane. All right, next,
Awesome.
what's after that? After the why, which is why should the Sandbox DAO do this? Or excuse me, after the what is the why. And why should the Sandbox DAO do this for Magic Palette? It takes a significant challenge for any platform starting from empty land, so starting from scratch. And you put in an interesting stat. 1% of the 166,000 lands have active experiences. How did you get that? How did you figure that out?
I think it's even less, but I don't know the actual numbers right now. I just know that there are around more than 1K published experiences live.
Yeah, that's a really powerful
And right
number.
now,
That
not
I didn't know
all,
that.
yeah, and not all lands are sold, kind of. So the 166K or the total full sold map.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of in this ballpark. I didn't want to go into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you go into, there are several barriers that we face as a community. Great ideas, but not builders or designers themselves. That's me. I have 25 different experiences that I have specced out because I'm a creative, I'm a business person, but I'm not a designer or a builder. So I'm going into VoxEdit and I have no idea what I'm doing. I go into Game Maker and I know how to place a block because I played Minecraft before, but like the triggers and the messages behind that and all of it's tough. I'm not talented at it. So then I contract and I work with other developer studios like MetaTheory, Eduardo over at MetaTheory, and on the days over at Dream Junk, and and I find people that I could work with to help bring that idea into reality. Extensive time commitments required for project development. Yeah, yeah. If I hadn't had for Builders Challenge when we developed floor droppers, we only did it in 14 days, but that is the time we had from when Builders Challenge 1 was announced to when it started. So we all worked overtime. Otherwise, it would have taken us a while to build something like that. How many experiences have you built, Pepe?
We have, as I said, we did for clients, but built, of course, we did many, but really published or kind of really, how do you say, high-end published experience are just two right now.
Two?
And that's,
And how
as I
long?
said,
How long was your longest one? Was it multiple months?
multiple months. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the extensive time commitments. So from personal experience, you know that. Insufficient familiarity with tools and game box edit and game maker, yeah. Although Sandbox does it better than most, where I've seen a lot of tutorials. A lot. And they're constantly streaming on Twitch different facets and different functionalities. So if you wanted to learn, you can learn. There's a way to do it. Limited budgets. Yes. I'm going to be doing a podcast in the next couple weeks about the business end of Sandbox and how my studio was hit pretty hard with the Catalyst revamp and the change from old Game Maker to new Game Maker fund. GMF 2023 versus GMF 2024, which is what the Builders Challenge 1 was. It's GMF 2024. And my limited budget was strained really hard. And so I have problems now with sustainability. I'm going to do a podcast on the numbers behind that and show you all what my calculations were and how a new studio like myself, MetaWorlds has only not even been in existence for a year yet. Even though I've been a lurker as a gamer and a landowner and all that, I didn't really get into Game Maker until I discovered Game Maker Fund 2023 back in, I think it was about February of last year. That's when I really started like putting proposals together, putting Game Maker Fund proposals to try and get ideas funded and that sort of thing. But yeah, there's a big limited budget unless you walk in and you have a big wallet. So for the vast majority of us, probably not that situation. Magic Palette addresses the obstacles by providing a tool that accelerates the creation process. That to me is very clear. I get how that solves a problem. Requiring much fewer resources and automatically generates a playable experience with just a few clicks. That's cool. Then you got this nice little picture here. I don't exactly understand. I think I see that it has like a little palette down here where you choose different blocks that you want, and then it generates, like procedurally generates after that. Yes? See? All right. That's cool. That's a cool idea. So like I know I want this lava looking block, this other lava looking block with like lines through it, and then boom. Here's what we'll turn into. Nice. Very nice. Okay, so that completes your how or your why section. For my window resizing SIP, my why was... Oh, I forgot. I put in my what, I put these thumbnails that I created myself in GIMP and Paint of just normal window resizing, and then the resolution, like how you can click and do more resolutions. So that took me like 2 hours. But it was important to show what we were after. So the why for window resizing, to increase the functionality. Yeah, I don't think I really need to put a whole lot more, but you can resize things and put out more windows. I go into depth later on as to how that helps a game maker or a box editor, or even someone who's just playing. And then my why for the roadmap, this one was a little bit deeper. It gives Sandbox, SandFam, and stakeholders an understanding of the release schedule, and it grants us significantly better decision-making ability. It increases SandFam trust, and it meets transparency goals. So Seb said during the NFC Lisbon that there are about 330,000 creators in the Sandbox. I don't know how he calculated that number, but I believe him. He said it multiple times now. And there are more than 800 partners. That's not just brand IPs, that's trusted partners and others. And so with all of us here in this ecosystem, we need to know how releases and updates are being made and win to the game maker, box editor. That way, all of the creator studios, the artists, the entrepreneurs, business people, we can align our plans and activities with the direction of the sandbox. And right now, I've asked around. I can't find one on a website. I don't know where there is one. Pepe, do you know if there is one for anything?
No, there is not.
There is not.
It's a good one, and I mean, partially I know why they do it not, and but on the other hand, as you said, it's so important for
Yeah.
decision making.
Yep. When I'm deciding on
Yeah,
what I want to fund, I'm deciding on which one is the cheapest and gives me something the fastest, or which one meets the intent of what Sandbox functionality is trying to build to. If I don't know what they're building to, then all I have is the cheapest, most fastest one, not necessarily the best fit. So that's my dilemma. All right, next one is how. Team and budget required. So for you, you're seeking 280,000 sand, which is roughly 140,000 US dollars. Actually, it's 33 cents now, so a little bit under 100, maybe 120,000 to fund
no,
development and
yeah, sorry, it's less now, and I'm a bit. We had these numbers in USD or USDC. It would be even something that is pegged to the dollar. Actually, I might need to adjust this one because sand dropped and the volatility of sand is so high.
yeah,
It's a risk for me as
yeah.
studio
It's a risk for me
owner.
too.
You know.
I'm building lava defense and I have a contract that I signed with the sandbox six,
Yeah.
8 months ago. And so what we agreed on then, volatility of the sand. So yeah, I feel you on that. So launch the Magic Palette app for the builders team and the landowners of the sandbox with a beta release in the upcoming weeks. And then you go into that later on here. Okay. For mine, the how is the DAO will issue requests for the window resizing SIP to the sandbox project managers of the listed programs, that's Game Maker, all that, to make both resizing program windows and adjusting screen resolutions a high priority fix in future updates. That's my how. And then for creating a roadmap, our how is we propose different options. The first option was hire the MetaWorlds team. So hire my team to build it. We'll build a open kind of like a Google Sheet pivot table macro formula enabled chart system that will able to do updates in real time and it's easily accessible. But option B would be then to have the sandbox team create their own. Maybe they don't like that having our team do it for them, but instead, so option B would be for them to create it themselves, and then continuously update it after that. And I create a mock-up of what that would look like. So this is what took me 8 hours to build, in Google Sheets and Slide. So there would be like a macro enabled formulaic like pivot chart, pivot table type thing where you input data into a table and then that table will automatically generate a roadmap and it easily updated. So it's very achievable now with today's technology and the way Google Sheets and everything runs. So it'd show specifically like what is the platform, what is the update that's coming, and then the different quarters of when is it going to start, when is it going to finish its development, and then when will it release to the community, done across all the different platforms of GameMaker, VoxEdit, website, and yeah, and then it would track its progress. So for this add a roadmap, if we started it in 423 and it finished development, it's now on its way to release, so testing all that, and then we release it in a month. This is what that would look like. So that's my how, and then the legend underneath it would be the legend. So the next one is in the SIP. Template is the win, description of phases, and the roadmap. And for you, Pepe, you have four phases. So can you walk us through? You've got finalize core, do testing, do a demo release, and official public release. So how does that work with? You said you're about to do a demo release. Does that mean we're in phase 3 now?
Can you repeat the last sentence?
What does when you said that there's a demo? You're almost at the point where you demo release. Does that mean we're in phase 3 that you mentioned here in the win?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you're already through phase 1 and 2.
No, not really. I mean, we have things in the works and things are implemented, things needs to be tested. We're really kind of just pushing as fast as possible because right now we think it's crucial that we might even go earlier with the demo so that people can try and see what Magic Palette is all about.
Okay.
But this is the base plan right now, and a lot of stuff is in the works. And I mean, again, back to the 10K character limitation. We only wanted to outline a few things so that it's clear what we are working on. But there are so many features and quite exciting features that are even not here on this SIP, you know.
Gotcha. Okay. So the next phase after the demo release is going to be the official beta public release. Nice.
Yeah.
You're pretty far along already then.
Yeah, of course, we invested a lot of time, development time, our own funds and resources into this.
Yeah.
This is also why we have this minimal viable product already kind of ready and we can work with it. It came out of our own production, as I always tell.
Gotcha.
It's really, it did evolve along the way. But since a few months, we really push hard on development of Magic Palette.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, makes sense. And that explains a lot of our situations. You know, especially Game Maker, not Game Maker, excuse me, Builders Challenge 2, where most of us did those at our expense with the hope that we would receive a reward at the end versus old Game Maker where you went on contract, you were paid an amount, and then you delivered. So a lot of us now, a lot of studios, a lot of us artists and everyone, we are doing this at our own expense and looking to get compensated for it and rewarded for our hard work. But this looks awesome, Pepe. This, like, just the pictures alone really bring it home, even though it's not really to me as the audience because I'm not a game maker to the extent that you're probably expecting other people to be. But this looks well researched. It looks well put together. All right, the next one is the when? No, the where. Oh, you did who first. So the when, or excuse me, the where. Link to corresponding discourse. Oh, okay, so they must have removed that from the template. Whereas in mine, the where is still there. So they must remove this portion before it goes to public comment. And then this link to corresponding discourse would be the actual link that it's posted in the SIP draft. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So then the who, Pepe, then it's all about you after that. So you are SandRush, a TSP Hall of Fame member. Is there a Hall of Fame, Pepe? Can you hear me?
No, sorry.
No?
I always lost. I
The
think it's
TSP Hall of
the phone.
Fame member.
Yeah. We can. It's kind of but there. You can see it on their page somewhere.
See it on their page. Now I want to take a look at this.
Yeah,
TSP
yeah.
Hall
We
of
need.
Fame.
Yeah, it's a few early studios and creators that has this title. But yeah, it's fun. I think it's in their documentation.
In their
Let me see.
documentation about the
Yeah, let me
sandbox,
see.
maybe
In the Git book or so.
in
I
the
think.
Git book. Okay, Hall of Fame. I gotta check this out. Nope, no results there. Must be in somewhere else then. So it's not on their actual website, like the sandbox.game.
It's. I think it. If I remember correctly,
I
it's
believe
in
you.
there.
It's somewhere,
Yeah,
huh?
I can dig it out.
Listed as
Yeah,
Hall
yeah.
of Fame.
It yeah, yeah. Just a
That's all right.
few
I believe you,
early
Pepe.
creators.
The Hall of Fame. Okay. And you're a trusted partner. That's cool. I only just became a trusted partner maybe a month or two ago at the end of Builders Challenge 1. And if you want to be a trusted partner, by the way, there is a on their trusted partner document page, there's a link where you can submit your application. So I would highly recommend it. I'm still new to it, Pepe, but from what I understand, trusted partner, they just send me a few extra emails saying, "Hey, do you want to apply to be in the next season for Sandbox?" So I don't know. What else do you get as a trusted partner?
Yeah, actually, I mean, you would have the opportunity to work for brands and IPs that they onboard, and
Oh,
but it's really kind of, I mean, in the all the years, and we are trusted partners since more than a year, almost 2 years, probably. It's there is not much coming from this
got it. Got it.
avenue. I I mean, it's kind of in the end, it's the sticker.
I
And
gotcha.
I need to be honest, we don't, yeah, we give no
Okay.
fuck about stickers.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, as you said, I mean, you people can reach you through their platform and kind of write you directly um,
Yeah, under
through their,
find an agency here.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But
So
this
you could
is
search. We're here at
at least
Sandbox
for
Trusted
us was
Partners.
never really
Then you can search SandRush,
attractive.
and there he is, SandRush, official
Yep.
partner. And if you search MetaWorlds, I should be there too. There we are. MetaWorlds. All right. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, as he said, I
Cool.
haven't noticed anything huge change yet, but as I understand it, there's a little bit extra getting involved. But I was interested to know that because yesterday or the day before you were on SandFam Cafe with AU24K, and he mentioned a number of times the access that trusted partners have, and I'm like, I'm a trusted partner now, and I don't feel like I have a whole lot of extra access, but you know, I wanted to ask you about that because I know you've been here for a lot longer on that side.
Access to what? I
Trusted
always
partner,
get, I think
whatever
it's a
that gives you
mixed
access
up,
to.
and it drops in Discord, your audio with me.
Oh, does it? Huh. I can still
Can
hear
you
myself
repeat?
really well on Twitch,
Yeah,
and
yeah. I could switch to Twitch as well, but then I have my echo, so that's
okay,
not.
gotcha.
Um, can you repeat the question about?
Oh, it's okay. I was just wondering about the trusted partner, but you already answered it.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I think you mentioned something here. One thing that actually is beneficial for us, at least, is getting access to versions of Gimmick or Voxel, or at least get these insights a bit earlier, kind of what mechanics. It taps into what you want to achieve with the roadmap thing, you know. You get a bit of heads up on things. For example, when before 0.10 GameMaker came out, there was a presentation, what all the features, and then sometimes you also have early access and all that. Yeah, so things like that.
Gotcha. Okay, so you get a little bit of extra advance notice. Alrighty. And so you work with CyberKongs. I remember CyberKongs. You continuously innovate and deliver state-of-the-art Web3 solutions. And then here's an example of one of your products. Those solutions. For my window resizing, I just had a picture of myself and then my background as a contributor, and then my professional background as a contract manager and program manager and business entrepreneur, that sort of thing. And then Donson, also on MetaWorlds team, he helped co-author this SIP. He's also a crypto enthusiast and has been involved for a while now in crypto, and he's also a program manager. So, and we lead teams and we build projects and do things for our industry. And so that will bring us to the end of the SIP, the TLDR section. TLDR. So that is meant to be kind of like a short snapshot of your later portion, which are the SIP details. The SIP details is where you go into a lot of depth that you only hinted at during the TLDR. And as a result, I just noticed? I'm coming in twice. That might be why you can't hear me very well, Pepe. Let's fix that for a second.
Cool. Yeah,
Voice
I
chat.
mean, usually it works good, but then it's really.
Oh, there we go. I accidentally had one of my other mixes, so that should fix it. So now I'm no longer coming in through two different channels. All right,
Perfect. Thanks, mate.
cool. So in the SIP details, you have your background, context, description, rationale and benefit, and your risk analysis. Your background context is about what problem you're trying to solve. Then you want to go into description, which is what do you aim to achieve? There, and then you want to get into specific actions, changes that you're going to implement. Then your rationale and benefit, which will explain why this SIP is necessary for the DAO, and what does it do for the ecosystem of the sandbox. So not just benefiting you, getting paid to do something, what value does this bring to the community, to the SandFam? And then risk analysis, identify any points of failure, anything that's going to be of a risk to your project. Okay, so that is the Yep, so that is the SIP details. So for the first part, background context. So as you can see already here, I'll move it over to this part. So as you can see here underneath the TLDR section, when you start getting to the background context, you start seeing paragraphs of information. And mine's very similar. So Pepe goes into the tools that are offered, which how the build up to why he feels that the magic palette is going to be a beneficial thing, and how he's expanding it into web and introducing the new features. And you're convinced that this tool should be available to everyone. Then he goes into the features. So it's web-based, it converts voxel models to TSP block-based levels. It's compatible with the editor. It supports import export, which by the way, I love that. That's awesome. Easy direct block swapping. I'm interested to know what that means. It sounds like it's secret proprietary stuff. And then
For sure.
advanced search and filters, customizable colors, block mode, perspective mode, and screenshot capabilities. And then a detailed block inspector. I don't know what that means, but yeah.
Yeah, it all revolves around kind of, this is why it's called Magic Palette. You build in voxel. Each voxel is represented with a color, and each color kind of then gets transformed into a block. And this is the link, and therefore you need to be able to work in Magic Palette with not only voxels but also blocks. So as you also see here, we provide tons of blocks, more than 1,000 blocks for free, kind of, for you
Yeah.
to start getting your project off the ground. And this is the basic magic that happens. We kind of are in this intersection of building fast, iterating fast, using your powerful voxel tools like Magica voxels or even VoxEdit. It's also fine.
Mm-hmm.
But Magica, for example, and also other voxel tools that are available right now have really powerful features that can help you. They have shaders, you can
Gotcha.
really combine stuff and all that. And this then allows you to build fast and really advanced, I would say, in an advanced approach, your
Yeah.
levels.
You have a dungeon generator and has over 60 rooms. So he's really going into detail here about what it is that he's offering, what it is that Magic Palette will offer, and hundreds of unique levels. So this is really a way to expedite your game making, and different extra tools of swapping and customization. So as you can see, he's put a lot of time and effort into, like, even here in this description, how with simple blocks you can procedurally generate something which you can then modify. And what that does is, if you've ever done a game maker thing before, even I've done a little bit of it, block by block by block by block, that's tough. That is tough. It's a tough world out there.
It
Cool.
is.
So
Yeah.
for mine,
Yeah. Go for it.
For mine, let's
Excited.
go to the background. For my Windows resizing, I said as of June 17th, which is when we originally built this SIP, users are not able to resize program windows with the current versions that are out there right now. So all I do is just kind of detail what it is that we started with. This makes routine window management for computer users very difficult, and it complicates activities that it's very standard with other programs, especially like if you have a single monitor where you can split screen. If you have a Word doc open, you have half your screen a Word doc, and the other half you have a picture, and you that facilitates your productivity. With GameMaker, VoxEdit, Launcher, especially the Launcher now, that thing's huge, and then Game Client, you can't customize that. All right, so what is the issue to be addressed? Enable resizing through interaction with window borders. So that's your normal, like, you resize in a window, clicking and dragging. And then enable a list of resolution options within the graphics settings. So that's my SIP for window sizing. For a roadmap, it would be here. I link it to the Sandbox DAO's vision statement, which transparency is their fourth goal, by the way. So you can look that up in their, where is it here? Under the vision. And then vision, you see here's one community, many parts, working with impact, empowerment, and the fourth one is transparency. So I link it to that, and it basically gets to the point where we want them to openly share their decisions, information, and processes to ensure that SandFam is involved. And that's exactly the way they describe it on their website. And the creation of a public roadmap will directly contribute to transparency goals. And a specific challenge, at least for me, and I've heard this from other people, is a lot of software updates are short notice. We only hear about them right before they come, and that presents a problem, because for me, who I'm trying to plan out many experiences across a timeline, I know some experiences will emphasize this key feature or this key feature or that key feature, and if I can see a roadmap, then I know to position my third experience as number one, because that is the upgrade that will become available in the next Game Maker release. So that really helps me build things that are, will take 6 months, right? Pepe, sometimes yours takes many months. My experiences sometimes take 6 months to build, and so if I know what it is that we're gonna get from our updates, then I can position that better and something more timely to the SandFam. So yeah, that's the background of mine for the roadmap. Okay, the next one is the description of what it aims to achieve. And for Magic Palette, we already went over the description, didn't we? Oh no, you combined yours. It looked like you combined your description with your background and your context, right? Because you'd go straight into the benefit after that. Here,
Yeah, I think so. I'm not
yeah.
sure.
And my description was basically a what does it look like? So resizing of the Windows launcher for for the resizing SIP, adjustment of the screen resolution within the client, and then the use case would be, instead of doing Alt Tab or Alt Enter to do Windows management, we can resize just like right now I have on my screen. I have Discord and a small window. I have my Streamlabs and another small window. Then I have my my top window here, and then I have my bottom window here, and it allows me to see everything at once, and it enhances my productivity. Instead of alt tabbing quickly while I'm talking to Pepe, I can now see things and interact with much better. And then for my description of the roadmap, I just talk about what are the programs that we're going to affect and what are the milestones and the phases we're going to track and what does it look like when you interact with the roadmap. Okay, and the next portion is the the rationale and the benefit, which is we have to explain why um why this SIP is necessary. So Pepe, what did you put for yours? Magic Palette garnered strong support within the design team. Can you tell us about that? Do I need to
I
repeat?
once, yeah, sorry. I once again get
Right here,
It
Magic
was
Palette
really
has
good until now,
garnered
but
strong support from the TSB design team. Can you tell us about that? No? Still having trouble hearing me?
yeah, totally. Sorry.
Garnered strong support from the TSB level design team.
Yeah, exactly.
What
So
what happened there?
we kind of pitched Magic Palette to not SAP first. We kind of um, did go where we think it would be used the most, and this would be the internal production team. So we are in direct contact with art director of TSP and his team, and especially um, the the team around the level designers and all the guys that really daily are working on XPs. And this is where we start to discuss what Magic Palette can do for them. And yeah, we have really great feedback from them already.
Yeah. Great. Blue Tulip, you rated me. I did not see that until just now. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. So if you're just joining us, what we're doing right now is we're going over in depth into the SIP process. Both Pepe and myself have submitted 2 SIPs. One, his is Magic Palette. My SIP was render resizing, and my other SIP was roadmap. So what we're doing is, for everyone's benefit, we're going through what we did to answer the questions to submit the SIP, so that if you all are interested in that, then you all can do the same thing. And you basically have to fill out this template, and then it goes through a back and forth with the team, and then it goes to public comment, and then it goes to a vote. So we're just going over that now, so that other people can see what it is that we did to fill it out. It is pretty big, so we're going through it. We just finished the TLDR, and we're now into the SIP details here that talk about the specifics of your SIP. So welcome and thank you, Blue. I appreciate that raid. Alrighty, so we were just at benefit, and Pepe was explaining what he filled out for his and what it meant when it said it garnered strong support. So my what was mine? Mine was that the Windows resizing is an issue that's problematic to gamers, developers, artists alike. I mean, many times we need to use multiple window configurations, like a picture up in the top left, especially now with Windows 11 that offers automatic resizing. So if you hover over that little square of your window, what'll pop up is this little block diagram. And if you can have like one window be most of the screen, another window be a small set of the screen. Actually, I'll just see if I can't do resizing right now. No, it won't let me. But in any case, so we can't do that with the current way that the Windows resizing doesn't work, or the Windows resolution. So it allows us for more productivity and easier creation. So if you're working on Magic Palette, you've got your web-based browser with Pepe's Magic Palette, and then you can have your game maker on the same screen with Windows resizing and with resolution options. So you could be doing both instead of alt-tabbing between one and alt-tabbing between another. So there you go, Pepe. Plug for Magic Palette. And then for
Perfect.
my roadmap.
Love it.
Yeah. And then for the roadmap, it's going to help us spend our time, money, and energy a lot easier if we have a roadmap for that SIP. And it grants us the ability to, especially with so many builders challenges and game jams and city jams and the game maker fund proposals, with the different stuff that's coming out for game maker and box editor. And it would help me because I have 25 experiences that I want to build. That list, 25 experiences. I've only built 3 of them. Right? So I have a lot more to go. Each one has a different focus or a different type of mini game I want to put out there. If I can see a roadmap that says, hey, we've got the shooting mechanic or functionality, it's going to release by the end of December 2024. And then after that, we have a teleportation mechanic. Then after that, blah, 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 blah. Then I know I can rearrange my 25 experiences to be built through that timeline. Yeah, so it's just much easier to use time and money knowing what the roadmap would look like. And that's the benefit for that SIP. All right, so let's go back to the very last portion of the details, which is the risk analysis. So down here, very, very bottom, it's a very small portion. It's called the risk analysis, where you're to identify potential risks or downsides and how it will mitigate. Let's take a look at what you put, Pepe. So yours was the risk associated are minimal. The direct data transfer will pose some technical challenges. And you're in direct contact with the Sandbox team to enable this. So it sounds like there's a little bit of a difficulty for the data transfer. Can you hear me? Yeah, am I having audio troubles for you again?
I couldn't hear you, sorry.
Oh, okay.
But I guess it's about the data transfer.
That's right.
I just will answer towards
You
this.
see me highlighting it? That's why I do this.
It's one of the crucial final puzzle pieces that we need to solve. And it's really the thing where we also need kind of the support of TSP directly. We have this already kind of lined up, but this takes time, as we all know. And to set things up, to make it work, to test things. So this is kind of where we really need to interact with game maker development team. And until now, everything that we did is reverse engineered. So it's all on us. And
Gotcha.
now at some point, we just can't solve it by ourselves because we need this interaction with game maker.
Yeah. Okay. And are you close to figuring that out, or is it still a problem?
We would not say it is a problem, but as I said, it needs time and it needs a kind of uh, coming out of until there is nothing. There is no API, there is no hook,
That's right. Yeah, there's no API.
There is nothing, you know. And this is where we kind of also hopefully trailblaze a bit for other people and other developers and other studios that want to build something for the platform or on top of the existing tools.
That's another good SIP idea, by the way. Someone better beat Pepe and I to it. The Sandbox DAO request from the Sandbox and api.sandbox.game. Do it. Someone better beat me to it. I'm probably going to live stream that one. And if you beat me to it, then it's all yours.
So good. Go for
Cool.
it. We will, yeah. It's something that is urgently needed in our opinion.
Yeah.
Especially since they also talk about kind of opening up things and all that.
Got it.
Yeah, I always, yeah.
So there's a technical risk with the data transfer that you'll have to overcome. Okay.
Yeah.
For Windows resizing SIP, my technical risk was that this priority that we request of the sandbox could offset another priority. We don't have access to a roadmap, so I don't know what those priorities would be. Yeah, but it could offset something else. And then SIP number 2 for me was the roadmap SIP. That risk was the creation of a roadmap will require involvement and input from the TSP program team. So their cooperation will be vital in helping us gather the data we need to produce a roadmap. And then this also assumes that the Sandbox team has milestones with which to create a roadmap from. I assume they do internally, but I don't know. I've never seen one. So if they don't have internal milestones to where I can build a roadmap from that, I would need to create them with the team. So that's a risk. All right. What's next? Next is now we start getting into the how. You've got to get into implementation plan. Oh, hold on a second. I need to fix that. Let's go. I need to chop some of the text up. So it's just, there we go. And then this one is these. All right, cool. So next one is implementation plan, and then the resources required, and the metrics for success. The implementation plan is the steps or phases of the proposal and a realistic timeline for implementation with key milestones and deadlines. So this is where you really got to prove that you can deliver and when you can deliver. All right, so you are dedicated, Pepe, to a swift, phased rollout of Magic Palette. We target a 4-month development period following the DAO approval, and you have a detailed roadmap below. Let's look at the roadmap. Is it this phase 1, 2, 3, 4 right here?
Yep.
That's the roadmap. Okay. So your phase 1, 70,000 sand. This is where you would implement these things. Phase 2, then you'd implement these things. Phase 3, implement these things. And phase 4, there's that data transfer. So you're giving yourself time to work through that risk so that it doesn't impact your project.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, the earlier the better, but we need, it's not only up to us.
Yeah.
So this is why we need a bit of time here. But as I said, a lot of stuff is already in place, and probably some of you guys did see it in the demo.
Yeah.
There are and a lot of things are also not mentioned here. A lot of features and quite cool things that you already can do. I
Gotcha.
just tried to outline a few key points here.
And I noticed here that I missed this when I read through it the first time. You want to do a Magic Palette Builders contest.
Yep. Yeah, that would be kind of concluding this phase and this funding period and all that, so that we really can, yeah, encourage creators to start working with it. And of course, we already have a lot of other and exciting things lined up for Magic Palette that comes after these 4 phases. But this also depends a bit on the feedback and of the community and the builders, what they would love to see next.
Yeah.
We have our roadmap, but we are super flexible and open here to adjust. Yeah.
Yeah. So as you can see, we as part of this SIP template, we have to put in how we're going to implement it. There's that way you all can be confident as a community that we know what it is we're trying to deliver. Then we get into everyone's favorite part, the resources required. How much money are you really asking for? And what is it that you need? So for Magic Palette, you went to, you combine that too. So here for phase 1, you're asking for 70, phase 2, 70, phase 3, 70, phase 4, 70, and that will equal the, what, right, 260,000?
280. Yeah, exactly.
280,000 sand.
Mm.
Okay. And then for me, for Windows resizing, I requested no funds. It would be on the Sandbox team to just implement it in their development phase, and I saw no need for me to ask any money from the DAO on that one. And then for number 2, my roadmap SIP. Oh, I forgot about the implementation plan, didn't I? Oh, right. For the implementation plan for the roadmap, there, it'd go through a process of signing an NDA with the Sandbox team, getting access to their material. So that's about 30 days worth of time. Then draft the actual roadmap for 30 days. Then get it reviewed by Sandbox team for 20 days. Finalize the roadmap within 5 days, and then get it to publish to sandbox.game within 5 days. And then after that, the Sandbox team will take ownership of it. If the Sandbox team decided, and this right here again is what it looks like. There's the legend, and then this is the table that we would create behind it to where any program manager would go in and just insert the data, and then it would automatically in real time create the roadmap. So it would adjust as the table adjusts. That's the power of pivot tables and pivot charts and macros in Excel. Very, very doable, very reasonable. And then option B, so if the Sandbox team decided that they didn't want to do that, because in this SIP, I give them the option. What we vote on is, do we want a roadmap? Yes or no? And then the Sandbox team, I say, if you want to hire the MetaWorlds team, we can create it for you, or you can rely on yourselves as option B, and the Sandbox team creates it themselves, and then I give them a potential roadmap for them to follow as well, a timeline. Resources required, if the if for this one, because of how much research and effort it took for us to put it in, I requested 2,000 sand for the MetaWorlds team, just for the SIP, if it passes. And then if the Sandbox team chooses option A, then we request about $15,000 in USD, and that will get us 4 subject matter experts. So that's your data entry, your programmer, and your all the other positions like that. That's also includes overhead, sales tax, and profit, which we only, ask for $500 in profit. So pretty low number. And then a 90-day development timeline, The resources we require with the cooperation of the Sandbox team. And then here's our team breakout: project manager, data analyst, configuration manager, and interface designer. And so that would give us the programming, then make sure it has a good user interface and that it works correctly. Okay. So that is the resources required. Okay, so then the next one is metrics for success. And so this one is after you deliver something, then how do you know that what you delivered impacts the community? How did it make an impact? What metrics are you using to judge whether you did a good job or a bad job? That's the metrics. So, Magic Palette, your metrics. You want to use app usage. So I assume there'll be like unique users and that sort of thing on your website. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then,
exactly. I mean, yeah, we don't, as stated here, we don't track, and it's basically, yeah, users can log in for free, and they should be able to use Magic Palette however they like. And of course, we also can track who exactly took kind of Magic Palette as a tool to create their experience. But we will probably see this on the map, or these experiences popping up on the map, and can there are some indicators because they couldn't be done in GameMaker, because you have now more powerful tools available to terraform and all that. So this will be interesting too, but we can't track directly what in the end will be published as land. This is not possible
do
for us.
you have a number of how many users you would say is success? Is it 500? Is it 5,000? 5 million?
Probably not 5 million at this point,
Yeah, probably.
but yeah, we would love to scale, of course, and it depends heavily on this initial. It's all about kind of showing what is possible and then bringing in the users, and the users hopefully will at least show all the others that are not onboarded yet,
Hmm.
and that there is a benefit of
Okay.
using Magic Palette for this early design phase. Yeah.
Is that where you came up with 1,000 users per month?
Yeah, exactly. But
Okay.
this is more like, yeah, people that just want to try out, some will build. And as said, we already have stuff in the pipeline that will accelerate this further.
Okay. Cool. Cool. No, for me, Windows resizing SIP, my metric for success is I call the definition of done, is when all users of GameMaker, Box Editor, Sandbox Launcher, and Sandbox Game Client are able to resize their program window with selected preset resolutions. So it's binary. Do we have it or do we not?
Yeah.
And that those improvements are made within the next 2 releases of each program, or before December 31st of this year, whichever one comes first. So if Game Maker releases 2 updates between now and December, then we would expect it to be in no later than that second release. Or if they only release one this year and they're going to release a second one next year, they do it before December 31st. Whichever one. That's my metric for success. You either have it or you don't.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
And then for my second one, my second SIP for the roadmap is success criteria 1: deliver a functional draft roadmap within whether option A or B. And then my second success criteria: deliver a fully functional final roadmap where people can input data and it changes the roadmap in real time like it's supposed to. Simple enough. Okay. So then once you hit metrics for success, you are done with the SIP details portion. So again, as a highlight, going back up to where we were. So we already did the interesting. We already did the title, council recommendation, the category, the SIP details. So we just finished that. And now, hang on, why is it doing that? Stop. Oh, highlight, yeah. So then now we're on voting options. After that, we hit appendix. So after you do the SIP details, you've done the vast majority of the template. You're now almost done. So voting options. Let's head on over to voting options. Pretty easy. It basically says state the options. The first 5 had yes, no, and abstain. And let's see what. Oops, I'm on the wrong slide. My fault. This one. There we go. Voting options. Yes, no, or abstain, or create your own voting options. And then how long? Do you want it 7 days? Do you want it 14 days? What do you want? All right, Magic Palette. What did you want? Where's voting? Voting.
I think you can construct quite sophisticated voting schedules and kind of see, yeah, we have this option A, option B, you vote for this and that. But in the end, it's for us, it's just you like you like the project and you want to support us or not, or you abstain. So we're just going basic here.
Okay. So,
The voting period is fixed. I think this can't be changed if I'm correct. It's always these 14 days, as far as
oh,
I know.
okay. Well, it says here usually 7 days. Not really sure then why it
No,
says
it's
that.
it's 14.
Okay. Okay.
It's 2 weeks fixed. At least this is what we were communicating.
So when you worked with the Sandbox development team, they told you you don't need to really worry about that portion. Yes, no, abstain,
Ye-
and then 14 days.
Yeah, I think,
Okay.
as I said, you can do more sophisticated voting options. But
Got it.
it's always these 14 days forum discussion, then the check, the council, and then it goes live for 14 days.
Okay. So for me, Windows resizing. Do you want Windows resizing and vote resolution options? Yes, no, abstain, and then
Yeah,
14 days.
perfect.
And then same thing for the roadmap. Should a roadmap for Sandbox releases be created? Yes, no, abstain, 14 days. It takes all of like 3 minutes to write.
Yeah.
Okay. And then next, after voting options. So we're now done with voting options. Next is the appendix. And the appendix is what you can use to put in extra stuff, things that are important for people to know about. They offer these contact information, alternatives, amendments, and additional resources. So for us, or in a Magic Palette, I mean, you have in your appendix you have your X Twitter profile, your Discord, and then your SandRush website. And then for alternatives considered, you opted against developing Magic Palette as a standalone document or desktop software over performance. Oops. You prioritize accessibility and user trust. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. And because it's web-based, you can access it seamlessly via anywhere. Okay.
Exactly. I mean, we would have because we could tap into your CPU and all that. We could have more powerful features kind of in Magic Palette, but as you see here, there are good reasons why we don't need these right now. This can still follow later. So there's something a pro version that you install. But to really get everybody on board, this is why we did this. The
Got
main
it.
reason.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So we're done with that one. Now we're on the appendix.
Yeah, you can kind of drop your links, your socials and all that.
Okay.
It's kind of cool because people can find you and find out more about your project and who's behind it. So I think this makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. I think
Then the
we linked
amendments
all. Yeah.
talks about welcoming feedback and suggestions. We're open to integrating. Thank you for your vote. Adventure awaits. And then under additional resources, here's your register link. So magicpalette.io, where you can register to get the demo. And then the one pager. Ooh. Built a one pager? Oh, okay. I didn't see this. Who built
Quite
this? Who made
stuffed.
this image? Was it you?
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
It's
cool.
quite stuffed. So don't get overwhelmed. But if you want to deep dive a
Yeah.
bit more, yeah, a lot of stuff is here.
Yeah. Okay, so for Windows resizing, I have the authors where the discourse link is where it would end up. And then I also put in the program versions, the differences of what I found when I looked at Game Maker. It does have resolution, has a list of resolutions for under 1920 by 1080, but it does not allow when Windows resizing at all, and it doesn't have a list of resolutions above 1920. For Game Client, the current version doesn't allow either, and for Vox Edit Beta, doesn't allow either. And it doesn't even have a settings button, actually. So there's that. And then for, I think that was the end of it, right? And that was the end of my proposal and the appendix for Windows resizing and resolutions. For my SIP for creating a roadmap, same thing, author and Donson, myself and Donson. And then the current program versions that I reference, and that's all I had for them. And
Yeah.
that's it. That was my,
Cool.
those are my two SIPs that I proposed. And then here is the SIP that Pepe proposed with the SAND RUSH team. Nice. Nice. Let's go
Awesome.
back to here. The zoom is pretty intense. There we go. That's better. All right. So in case of resubmission, I didn't really know much about that until I read your section, and now I get why they had that there. So that was like instilling confidence that we're going to fix things and we're open to fixing things. So I get that now.
No, I think this one is really if you kind of were rejected and want to resubmit. I think there's a 3-month time period where you kind of blocked and then you can resubmit if I understand correctly. So in
Got it.
case if we would deny it, we would need to wait, restructure, resync our project, and then publish again, or submit again.
Got it. Okay. So that does that. All right. So now we have gone over the whole template. But once you're done with the template, then you have, after that, it's a little bit more difficult navigating right now. Then you have the email submission. So, whoops, I forgot to put that part. That's funny. So after that, then you email it to their email, which is proposal idea. So sip@sandboxdao.com. Once you email it to them, then you get an email response saying, "Hey, we found it. We've got your SIP, and we're now going to talk about it internally, and then go back and forth between you and them." How long did your back and forth go between your team and the Sandbox team before it went to zip draft?
Not that long. I mean, it was more kind of this period because the DAO was not live yet, But in the end, it's kind of we also submitted, and they said, "Oh, it looks all good." So we basically didn't need to change. My changes were coming from researching a bit about snapshot. For example, this 10K limit, character limit, sorry. This was not stated back then, and I think they even didn't know about it. So I resubmitted or kind of resent them a new draft, and then we just waited until the DAO did go live, And from there, we knew that we get into this second batch, not the first one. This was already pre-made and defined, but the second one.
Okay, gotcha. And how long did that back and forth go on for? A week? More than that?
There was no back and forth. We're just submitting, then they said it's all good,
Oh, so it was instant.
Basically,
Okay. So for
it
Pepe's SIP
kind of,
was instantly approved.
Not approved, but they said it's all good, It's kind of they didn't had things that they thought we should change,
Okay, so there were no recommended changes. It was just ready to go.
Exactly. Yeah. That
Okay,
would be
so
correct.
Sandbox DAO program management team did not require changes and posted to Sandbox DAO on the forum. So we should be coming up pretty close on your 14-day period, right?
Yeah, it's until next Wednesday, yeah.
All right.
So 3 more days, yeah.
3 more days. So then so the public comment closes 26 Wednesday 26 June. So it's Wednesday. So if you would like to submit any feedback to Magic Palette, you have until Wednesday to do it. As you can see, a lot of people did say something. Dan Coy loves it. Pepe is responding back. And then as he's responding back, he's also looking at, well, do we need to make changes? Are there anything we can do now before it goes to final vote? Von Frunten talks about how this is sorely needed. Banano likes it. Escape Room. I saw you in the chat, Escape Room, and Escape Room just gave you lots of love and why he's excited about it. And again, you've been very, very communicative. You've been communicating a lot with people. How important was it to you to respond back to the community comments?
I think it's crucial. I mean, in the end, these are the people that will vote or not vote, or kind of vote for you or against. I guess this is also something that kind of the how do you say? It's not the concept. It's kind of the support team around Cyril and all that. That the DAO team kind of brings to your heart and say, yeah, I mean, this is your chance to interact with the community and let them know what you're doing, what you're building, what's your project all about. And it's a perfect place to exchange thoughts and also have the opportunity now to update the SIP. So Wednesday, when it goes, I'm not sure if it goes live Wednesday. I'm still not super into all the details yet, and we will see it on our own. But one thing that is clear, we now have your feedback from the community, and we're super grateful about that. and we can adjust certain things in our SIP now. And then it goes on chain and it will be live for voting.
Got it.
You know,
Okay. Okay.
so it's super important.
Yeah.
But it even can be commented and will be commented when it's live, as we did see with the other SIPs. You know. But
Yep.
you can't, as creator, you can't change anything then. It is kind of on chain, yeah, then. So it's important to, if you have concerns, please raise them now, because then we can react and might adjust things if you think, yeah, we should.
Oh, Tempest. Nice. So definitely some community outpouring, and it looks really, really good so far. A lot of people are very excited about this, and many of them are saying the same thing that Crypto Diplo is saying. This is exactly the sort of thing that we should be funding. Tools to help build our platform so that we can do what we do better. All right.
Cool.
So once you've submitted it, then there's a back and forth. The back and forth goes on. Public comment. Once the public comment concludes, then as we know, has been talked about by Seb and Cyril, is that it will then go to a yes/no vote by the special counsel here. And what they'll be looking at is legality, redundancy, conflict, and community interests. So as long as it abides by those basic rules, then it will go to on-chain vote via snapshot.org and sandboxdao.com, where people can vote using their voting power. And then it's yes or no at that point. So that is the SIP process as it stands right now. Pepe and I have pushed out 3 SIPs between us. His is Magic Palette, the one that's going on right now. It'll hit voting first. And then mine are currently going through the back and forth with a Sandbox management team before it goes here into the SIP draft folder alongside Magic Palette. So very excited for both of us, really, especially the Magic Palette and the tool that you want to build for the community. And as a reminder, the road to the DAO here, it was announced May 28th. So that's how long we've all known about the DAO. And since then, there have been a long road of clarifications, AMAs. We've had 5 SIPs that were passed, and 2 now are on the docket for the next voting round. There are a lot of different spaces for SANDDAO right now. I say a lot. There's a few. Shout out to G and the Mochaverse. They're now doing SANDDAO or Sandbox DAO discussions on their Mochaverse Mondays. And then you also have my Sandbox DAO podcast I call SANDDAO. I have about how many? 16 different episodes planned, by the way. Everything from community reactions to lessons learned from other DAOs, comparison of the white paper to the DAO, and it's a reading through of the foundational articles and memos that they posted. We just did a review of the SIP process, so that one is now done. And then a review of the catalyst changes, different stuff that I've seen that I want to really delve into, a very DAO centric sort of thing. But those are my future episodes, and we have not been at this very long,
Cool.
so we're still learning. We're still learning as a community. So, what do you think, Pepe? What are your final thoughts?
Cool. Yeah, thanks again for doing this deep dive here and structuring it that well. I think it gives us a good overview. I mean, today we dived into the template mainly, and it's not that hard, but it needs a bit of effort, and I think it's fair enough, and especially for the more advanced projects that also requesting funds, the people should know what you are after, and what you are building. So it's super important. How the DAO itself will pan out and how the voting, for example, for our projects will go, this is this is yet to be to see. We are excited, kind of, and we're super grateful for all your support here, also in the chat and the community. Thanks again, guys.
Yeah.
Super awesome. Yeah, it's a road that we take, and we push it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Pepe,
Cool.
for coming on this episode. Shout out to Andy and Hoddle, who was on episode number 1, and that was our community reaction episode. Also, shout out to SandFam Cafe, who is doing monthly episodes. Really cool. I love listening to Pickaxe, and Pepe was just on it. SandFam Cafe number 6 this past week, alongside AU24K, and I'm missing one. Who was the fourth?
Joe, Vision X.
Oh, of course, Joseph, who will also be on a podcast here. But shout out to all of them and the good work they're doing. Dr. Metaverso for hosting the AMA, G for hosting the Mochaverse Mondays, and tomorrow we'll be doing this, but with the other sip, the creators first sip with Cyril. Not to be confused with the other Cyril, and the Sandbox DAO Cyril. This is Cyril, who came up with the creators first. We'll go over that tomorrow, and then on Monday we'll have another. Tuesday we'll have another podcast episode with Crafter and Joseph on their community reaction. So a lot of stuff coming up for SANDDAO Podcast, and we're just trying to work through it, everybody. We're all trying to work through it as a team, as a community. A lot of love to everyone who's out there trying to do stuff to build a strong SANDDAO that we all want to succeed. I mean, we're all pretty well decided. Now that it's here, now that we understand what it's here to do, it's here to help us. It's here to build the platform, to build the community, so that we can all succeed. And that's where we'll leave it. So thank you all again, Pepe from SandRush, and myself, Lanzer from MetaWorlds. Appreciate your time. Thank you all for coming, and let's find someone to raid. Pepe, who should we raid? Let's take a look.
Not sure if someone is online. I don't.
Yeah, let's find someone online. Do we have anyone from the sandbox? Am I the only one? Am I the only channel?
Seems so.
Looks like I am the only channel. So, okay. We're going to have and then the stream. That did not go the way I thought it was going to go. Oh, come on, Hoddle. I thought Joseph was doing a 24-hour stream. He did say he wasn't feeling well, so that might have been it. But yeah, thank you all.
His one is done, yeah, and
yeah, he's done. Okay,
and he just dropped in with his guys here.
Oh, did he?
Oh, Blue Tulip is live. Cool.
Yeah, well, thank you. Appreciate you all. See you tomorrow, and happy SandFam.
Cheers.